Good morning. Today I will be ranking my top 20 picks from Drum Corps International Championship weekend in Indianapolis, Indiana. If you don't know what this activity is, well, you'll figure it out as we go, so let's get into it. This show was inspired by the modern art installation movement, which is characterized by larger-than-life works of art. For the Madison Scouts' 85th anniversary, the Corps explores this exhibit and becomes a part of it. Do we have any Madison Scouts vets from 1937 watching this video? Compose a comment. You are a legend. Madison used some of their music as far back as 1980s shows up through now with some original music. For you newbies watching this video, the Drum Corps shows, they all have some kind of concept that tells a story that goes on throughout the show that is enhanced through the musical and visual production of the show. And that's kind of what I'm basing this ranking system off of, is what shows I thought had the best stories, and also which shows I thought had the best music and which corps played the cleanest. This show combines artistic elements that are recognizable to the Blue Knights aesthetic. The vibrancy of colors and sound throughout this show create the vibe that the Blue Knights are known for. And I gotta say, watching this show, I was kinda disappointed that nobody got into those spinning props and were flipped around like Veritas did in Indoor, but I guess that wasn't what they're going for. That was supposed to be like the blue dots on their uniform. We start the show with the horn line coming out of this giant tarp into a new world of Drum Corps Band. And I want to give a congratulations to this Drum Corps for coming in first place in the Open class. So in DCI, there's two different classes. You got World Class and Open Class, and that's based on skill level. So the Open Class shows are usually like easier and have like a more simple storyline. But I don't know about that here. The Vanguard Cadets, they were like up there with these World Class groups. And they also let the Open Class corps compete in World Class prelims, and Vanguard Cadets beat a few of the World Class corps. So I don't know, maybe they should get bumped to World Class next year and compete against the actual Santa Clara Vanguard. Just like Pulse has two drum lines competing against each other in World Class. And that would truly be somewhere new in the World Class for them. You get it? That's their show theme. I'm full of jokes here. In this show, we are in the void of time and Drum Corps. It's all mixed up into one thing. We have all kinds of throwbacks to some of the most iconic DCI shows. I definitely appreciated that. Definitely a very entertaining show here. This show is inspired by undersea wreckage and the stories told by those who experienced the wreckage firsthand. Yeah, this one is a pretty dark show, and I like the dark shows, okay? They fill my heart with joy. This show title is a play on the word Mobius strip, which is that thing where you take like a piece of paper and loop it around and tie it on the end, graphic inserted right there, that thing. And they also had that used visually with the props and also with the music and the drill. And I definitely enjoyed the musical selection of this show. It was very exciting. Here we have a contrast of styles, musically and visually, demonstrating the difference of wartime and peacetime. We've got all kinds of props, we got movable beds, we got movable cannons, and I was kind of disappointed that they didn't use the cannons for something epic. I mean, I guess I'm kind of spoiled from all the performances I got to do at Marine Barracks, Washington. So yeah, no epic gun battles in this show, but I thought they sounded absolutely fantastic. Through chaos and confusion, we seek a transcendent state of clarity and enlightenment in the hopes of finding nirvana. And of course, we use some music from the band Nirvana, and this reminded me a lot of Rhythm X's show from this year, which is one of my favorite indoor shows. I certainly appreciated the finger cymbal solo in this. That's something I've never seen before. And I can't talk about SCV without mentioning just the percussion section in general. They were super clean. It was ridiculously good writing. And they even used magic in their show. I don't know how that's allowed. I'm sure all you DCI fans are aware that the top 12 cores in real life, they're the ones that make it into finals, so we're gonna see which cores would have made it to finals if I was the one and only judge. But first, if you're enjoying this video, make sure that you click that subscribe button, ring that Liberty Bell, and click that like button. Here we have a whole new chapter in our journey through Oz. Genesis explores what exists beyond the yellow brick road, and it is a twist on the fate of Dorothy. And like I said before, I like the dark and twisted shows, and this show is definitely dark and twisted. It gets more dark and twisted as we go on. In fact, Dorothy ends up becoming the Wicked Witch of the West. This is straight out of an M. Night Shyamalan plot twist here. For those of you who didn't pay attention in history class, the Silk Road is a network of routes used to transport goods from China to the Roman Empire from 130 BCE to 1453 CE. We're not talking about the dark web Silk Road, okay, that's a different kind of Silk Road here. So throughout our journey on the Silk Road, we transform from thread to fabric and end with a dazzling display of silk. Yeah, the show was very, very interesting, and I definitely liked the musical selection, and I certainly liked the tambourine solo. That was epic. Here we have the story of Willy Wonka's journey through life. The music of the show was definitely enjoyable to me. We had arrangements from the movie. I found this to be a very entertaining and interesting show. In this show, we find ourselves wondering what is on the other side. Not to be confused with Carolina Crown's 2009 show, The Grass is Greener on the Other Side. This is a way, way darker show, okay? And I like the dark shows. Although this one, unlike the Genesis show, this one gets less dark as it goes. We end up on the other side and it's glorious and magical and stuff. I thought this show had a really unique and interesting design. We had this gigantic prop that spun around, and I think when I went to see DCI in the theaters, the announcer said that this prop was like 2 tons or some ridiculous amount. And this reminded me of another disastrous video of Carolina Thunder back in the day. Yeah, this guy freaking wiped out, and I'm just gonna assume he died, because this looks terrible. But well, nothing like that happened in this show, at least none that I know of. Definitely fun to watch. I thought the singer sounded absolutely fantastic as well. This show symbolizes our life's journey, where we start in safety, we deal with instability, and then we reflect and realize that we were not far from where we started. And as usual from Phantom Regiment, I thought the music in this show was absolutely amazing. It was very well arranged, super well played, and incredibly effective. Phantom sure knows how to put on an effective and entertaining show for the audience. The color blue has flourished in a multitude of incarnations. And here we have the Blue Devils dancing on the historical timeline of this mysterious and dynamic color. This show was definitely very visually captivating. I really liked the sparkly blue uniforms. And as always, the percussion section was fantastic. The drum feature was very interesting and quite unique with the use of the snare drum pads on the drum. And the drum set player, my goodness, this guy killed it. Congratulations to the Blue Devils for winning DCI championships in real life, making this their 20th title for the Drum Corps. We are taking a journey from New York City to the West Coast in the 1960s. We have a very diverse musical selection and props to set the stage for the journey. And I really enjoyed this journey that the cadets took us on all the way across the United States on the football field. A very fun and entertaining show indeed. The Cavaliers take us on a journey through time from the early days of the printing press through the modern age of social media. Throughout this show, we see that time is endless and repeats itself in mystifying ways. We have musical selections ranging all the way back from classical music all the way up through modern popular music. And I certainly appreciated how many tempo changes were in this show. Like, there was tons of them all over the place. We're slowing down, speeding up, all intentionally, of course. I'm sure that took a lot of work and practice to get that consistent, and they pulled it off extremely well. Nice job there, Cavaliers. I thought this show was probably the most unique way I've seen a corps get the audience involved with the performers. Utilizing the app Crown Live and Interactive Experience, the audience was encouraged to use their phones to interact with the show as it was going on in real time. Although the only time I saw this show live, I was sitting on like the -10-yard line and my phone couldn't scan the QR code from that far away. But there was all kinds of very unique and memorable moments throughout this show. We had this gigantic prop that made the horn line look like they were underwater, and also the horn line became the color guard for a few moments during the drum feature. This was just a massive wash of color. It was pretty epic to see. And of course, they've rickrolled the entire audience in prelims. Oh man, what a bunch of legends.
We're going to play the crowd's favorite song from doing a quick search on everyone's playlist.
The Troopers, once again, putting on one of my personal favorite shows of the year. This concept is based on the movie There Will Be Blood, about an oil tycoon in the late 19th century. And through our struggles working as an oil tycoon, we finally discover gold, which is represented through the electric cello, and this cello part, this was lit. Like, I really enjoyed this whole arrangement for the second half of the show using the cello. Super cool and very unique musical ideas. And of course, the percussion was highly featured, very interesting stuff going on. Just an overall really entertaining and dark show, and of course, I like the dark shows. Inspired by the poem Paradise Lost by John Milton, this is based on the biblical story of the Garden of Eden. The Boston Crusaders explore a variety of emotions such as wonder, knowledge, corruption, and consequence. Dude, this show was so freaking aggressive and epic. Like, I really enjoyed watching this, and I enjoyed rewatching it a whole bunch of times to make the ranking of this video. Yeah, just a really effective and exciting show here. The percussion was brilliantly written into this. I definitely liked all the rams of notes throughout all the drum features, and the trombones. This is probably the best use of trombones I've ever seen in a drum corps. It's absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend watching this one.
That's the dude who was driving.
As usual, the Bluecoats going all out with this. Maybe someday someone will make a 20-foot cutout of my face to use as a prop. Life goals right there. Life goals. Throughout the show, we are reliving a dream and contemplating the hazy connection between reality and unreality. And we are experiencing a wide range of emotions and characters along the way. Yeah, this one's pretty trippy, guys. This show just had all kinds of unique elements that I have never seen before in a drum corps show. It was so entertaining and fun to watch. We had these huge car tire props running over the horn line all throughout the show. And of course, the keytard. This guy stole the show. Like, this just put the icing on the cake and sealed this as my top favorite show. Such an interesting sound, interesting design. Fantastic job from the Bluecoats here. So those are my top 20 favorite corps of this year. Compose a comment below if you disagree with the rankings. I'm sure most of you probably do. We all have our own opinions, so feel free to fight me in the comment section. But Drum Corps Band is not over this summer, okay? We still have DCA championships in Rochester, New York next week. And I'm gonna be there, and I'm also gonna be doing 5 INE solos. So yeah, if you wanna come check that out, I would highly recommend it. And also make sure that you click that subscribe button, ring that Liberty Bell, and click that like button. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon. If you are able to, please consider going over there to make a donation. It will help the channel out a whole lot. And also consider buying a custom t-shirt, such as this one. I will leave that link in the description. And have a good morning.